Well, we love true crime doc here at Cinemondo. Kathy is an expert. Kathy has watched, I think, so many of them. I love
It's
them. I
not
don't,
good, but I do. I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and I watch a lot of true crime. I look at it as an education, you know?
and
You watch
also,
those things and you learn how to be safe, what to do if something goes wrong. Like, it's and I love seeing bad guys get caught. I love it.
yeah, and also what not to do, and
Yes.
but this one's interesting because it takes place well, originally. First of all, it's called Lover, Stalker, Killer. It's on Netflix, directed
Yes.
by Sam Hopkinson, and it's not a series. It's a 90-minute documentary, so you get the full story from the beginning to the end in an hour and a half.
I kind of wish it was a series. It really could be. I mean, I would
It's,
like to have seen sometimes the story is so good. You
yeah,
just want to see every little tiny thing just to drag it out. Like I just would, but it was really a roller coaster. Just those
it's
90 minutes.
it's a compelling, truth is stranger than fiction story
Yeah.
about this guy who's a mechanic. His name
Mhm.
is Dave Kroupa, and he's just, he was in a relationship, didn't go, he had a couple of children, but they broke up,
Yeah.
and her name was Amy, and he's just okay. I'm going to just try to do online dating. This is back in 2000 or 2001 when online dating was just
Oh,
starting.
back in the old days before it was scary as hell.
I know. And you're innocent going, "Hey, I'm going to go out," and every picture is
Right.
definitely the person you think it is, and
Mhm.
they're being very truthful, honest about what
Everything they say in their profile is factual.
100% true. So you go and you go, "Oh, this is better than going to a bar. Oh, this
Yeah.
this this guy looks handsome. This girl looks
Yeah.
attractive and interesting." So that's what he does, and he finds somebody, and
Mhm.
the gal's name is Liz Gollier, and they go out. They have a good time. It's just about casual
It worked
fun.
out. I
Not
mean, his
Yeah,
first one out of the box, he met a cool girl who just wanted to have, a party and not be too serious, and it was
exactly.
like, sound like a good time. Sounds like the perfect thing for a guy just wading into the waters again.
Right. And since it was considered, casual, it wasn't a big deal if they, start dating other people.
Yeah,
It's like, we're not committed to each other.
right.
And he finds another person on this website. I think I forgot the name of the website. It was something I never heard of.
Oh,
Like
no, it was something like Plenty of Fish, I think.
Plenty of Fish. What a
Plenty of
name.
Fish. You know what's funny? Every time I watch true crime thing, I love the online dating true crime shows. It's always this one. Every time.
Really?
This
Really?
one has the highest incident of showing up in a true crime
Oh my
show.
God.
I know, and I'm like, do not ever do Plenty of Fish
I
because
don't even, I don't know if it's still around or not, but
I don't know.
Plenty of
I know.
Fish. So Dave meets this other woman. Her name is Carrie, and actually no, yeah. Wait a minute, no. She comes because her car has an issue, and he's a
Yeah, he
mechanic.
meets her at work. Like she comes in as a customer, and then he's like, "Oh, she was really cute," but didn't really think about it. But then she ended up popping up on the dating app.
Right. So like, hey, I know you, and so they go out and they have this great,
Yeah, they
they
have a
meet
nice
out and they
night.
hang out, and they start going out and getting into a little more serious relationship.
But not too much. They made clear they just wanted to be, casual. They both had lives. She was a
Right.
career woman, like, she was successful. She didn't need a man around, to
Right.
support her or anything. So, he felt like he was in the perfect situation. 2 women that just wanna have fun.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right. Of course, what happens in those situations, or can happen in this situation,
Yes.
Liz has, kind of, is at his apartment door going, "Hey, I left something here. I need
Yeah,
to,
she's in
come."
the other girl's in the apartment, so she's
Right.
probably, like, knows that and is trying to make things uncomfortable. But she doesn't
Right.
do anything, she just kinda goes in and leaves. It's like,
Right. And that's it.
but still,
Uh,
it kinda made him kinda go, "Huh, maybe she's not as cool with this as I thought." But,
right.
nothing
But
really bad.
he's going, whatever. And then all of a sudden, he, starts getting these texts that are not nice and are
Well,
creepy and scary.
I love how it starts off soft, like, they'd only been going out, like, a couple weeks, I mean,
Right.
Carrie and him.
Scary. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden gets to like, "Hey, we should move in together," just out of the blue, and he's like, we talked about this. Alright." So then she goes off. After that, after he kinda basically turns her down, she goes ballistic. Starts sending him all these terrible messages, like crazy, crazy town.
Like really stuff that's like, oh, you're an asshole, but and like, but then it starts getting more and more dangerous.
Yeah, like, "I hope your kids die," like, getting really creepy and dark,
And,
like,
and
"Oh, I'm gonna follow you. I see you now," like, super stalker shit. Like,
super stalker shit. So you go lover, and then hence the title, lover, stalker. And so he's like, I don't know what to do about this.
it was
Goes to
hundreds of texts a day, like, it was nonstop. And he
Right.
kept changing his number, kept getting a new one. You know, the
Right.
numbers would change for Carrie. And he was like, who is this woman?
Yeah. So Carrie is just sending these texts, and he says this is harassment. I'm going to get the police involved. This is in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
So, but the police, they really can't find who this is. They can't find Carrie at all. So they just don't know what to do. And then it escalates to the point where Carrie says, I know that whore you're dating, I'm gonna burn her house down with her kids in it.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into like
It's getting really
arson,
creepy.
really
Yeah, I
creepy.
mean, even Liz is getting harassed, and she hasn't done anything. She was just like one of the casual partners in relationship. Like, he's like, what is happening?
And Liz is calling up, going, it's like I've got children here. I know I've got animals. I've got a snake, and I've got whatever. And so like she's freaking out, and he's freaking out. For good
reason.
Yeah. And lo and behold, as we're going to go to spoiler land here because we're going to talk about this, full bore. We have to.
We have to discuss this crazy thing.
Yeah.
I know, it's so true.
The next thing that happens, I believe, is that Liz's house is set on fire. Completely burns to the ground. Her animals die. She's freaking out. She's just so like, and she's got to move. She goes, I got to move away. I got to get away from this crazy person, Carrie. And of course, Dave is just like in the middle of this, like just feeling horrible about all of it, beyond belief. And also Dave has, his ex-girlfriend or ex-partner with the two kids, Amy, living I think over in Iowa, which is right across the river from Omaha. It's real close. And then there starts threats against his kids. So it goes to this next level where,
but in the meantime, keeping it too, in the meantime, no one has seen Carrie since she went off the rails. Like, she's disappeared. She says, I have to do this. I have to go off on my own for a while. And so to me, that was the red flag. It was like, and we haven't seen Carrie. She's the one person in this that we haven't seen. And why is she not showing up? And
her mother is, really worried because her mother goes like, what,
she's a very responsible person.
Right. And her mother, who is interviewed quite often, you really feel bad for her because she's just like, oh my God, what happened to my daughter? Why this is not like her?
Why is she being so crazy? Yeah, it was really weird. So, and what I also liked is that in a way it's sort of a cheat but you have to do it. As they're doing the movie, they have to interview people who talk about it as if all the facts aren't known already, like they don't know. So they have to pretend like we had no idea, and the two cops are, talking, about the case, and they have to act like they haven't investigated it fully yet. So there's a little bit of cheat, but that's part of the narrative, because otherwise we're not going to watch it if we already know how it ends.
Yeah. And I
was okay with it.
I'm okay with the twists and turns. It's a document. It's supposed to tell a story, and the story takes its time. It's chronological. And meanwhile, we meet these three investigators, who I forgot the name of the county, but it was like Potawatomi or something like that. Right. And one guy is a cowboy, he's a cowboy, but he's not really a cowboy. He just dresses with a cowboy hat. There's another guy who's like a regular Joe. And there's a third guy who's the computer guy who is a bit on the spectrum. And they start investigating this crime. And I found that really compelling because they really cared about this. Yeah. And the guy who's the computer guy on the spectrum,
I loved him.
He was great, because
he's so good.
He really delved deep into like IP addresses and where are these texts coming from, multiple IP addresses. So it's kind of, so just by a lot of hard work, he pares it down to this one IP address that keeps coming up, which is in Council Bluffs, Iowa, which is a suburb of Omaha right across the river. Mm-hmm. And it's the home of this guy who works at the police department.
So they're like, oh shit, it's coming from inside the house.
Exactly. It's like when
so they were like,
calls.
What? I know. I thought that was so great too. I love the guy too. Like he's bald. He kind of talks in a very, monotone voice, but he was so fun to watch because he was like dialed in. Right. He was all like, well, I started with, he goes, I tried checking this and I checked this. You could see him like digging, deep. Right. I'm like, thank God for people like this. Thank God there's people that their obsession is to know this stuff, because guess what happens? And it took them so long to just get to this step. I never understood that. Like, you have someone being harassed by phones. You have incoming calls. Like,
Yeah.
why did that not occur to them to start going into that? It took them forever to figure that
It
out.
seemed like the
I get
Omaha police, or the earlier investigator, just was like, I can't find her. I can't find
Oh,
her. So
well, I
yeah,
guess it's just,
exactly.
it's no harm and no foul. Like, it burned down the house, but nobody got hurt except some snakes and, so
Yeah,
it seemed like they were taking it a little cavalier about it because I think at that
yeah,
point, the stalking thing still wasn't a huge deal yet. Like,
right.
shockingly, this is stalking laws and things like that are still relatively new, and being able to dig into people's phones and figure out where they were, the whole cell tower thing that we've been doing lately in crime shows, that's all kind of new. So,
Right.
but it was
So
all new, but people were trying, and thank God there were people who were really, really trying.
yeah, so he found it. It was this address of somebody that works under him in the police.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's the guy works for me
And they're
in the
like,
police
"What do we
department.
do?"
So he talked to them, and he goes, "Oh well, yeah, that's my computer, but my girlfriend who's living with me uses it too. Oh
Just a
yeah,
casual girlfriend, not really full time, but
yeah."
sometimes she hangs out and
She
uses the
hangs
internet.
out, and
Oh,
because
interesting.
her house burned down a
And they were
while.
like,
Like what? That's when
"House
I
burned down.
that's when I went house
Ding,
burned
ding, ding,
down.
ding, ding."
And lo and behold, it's Liz Gollier who moved away because her house burned down, was freaking out.
So she had to go stay with this guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's the big, like, for me, like, oh my God, it's her,
The
it's
whole
her.
time, I mean, this is years,
Yeah.
like, years of this man being harassed incessantly, getting these terrible texts. I love too, like, how the graphics on the screen where they showed all these text doo, 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 like
Yeah.
texts coming in and overlapping, and they're covering the screen. They're all saying, "You're an asshole. I'm gonna kill you."
Right,
It
right,
was just
right.
like, I cannot imagine how creepy that was. I was like,
Right.
"Oh."
And
So
so Liz was also going after his kids and his
mhm.
ex. And so it
No,
was
she
just
wasn't. No, she wasn't. I love her when she's being interviewed. They're like, "Well, we have your tape." "No, it wasn't me. I know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?" I'm
yeah,
like, "You're terrible. Like,
I
you
know,
are caught dead to rights.
I
Just
know,
stop it."
I
I
know,
mean,
exactly.
so but, that's what you think, right? And
Yeah.
so then there's another twist, sort of.
What's the next twist?
She's in this she's been shot. She gets shot in the leg, which I'm like, "Shot in the leg? Mm,
She has this 911 call, and she goes, "I'm in a park or something,"
I got
and
shot. Someone came up behind me and shot me." And they're
yeah,
like, "Where are you shot?" "In the leg." I'm like, eh.
yeah.
Maybe. Okay.
Right,
So then you're thinking, well, Carrie's still out there. She's gone. She's also, whatever. Who knows where Carrie is? And
right.
the fact that we already know Liz is guilty, you're like, what happened here?
Yeah, what happened to
Mm.
Carrie? Because not a peep from her,
Oh, so sad. And they just keep
and
showing that one cute photo of her. And
yeah, I
and it
know.
occurred to me, like, through the whole movie, we're seeing this picture of Carrie along with these messages. And then they talk about Carrie did this and Carrie did that and Carrie did. Imagine if you were living through that, because by the time you find out it wasn't her, it's this face has become so iconic with the evil and the terrible person that is like harassing you or whatever. Like he's got her in his head going, "Oh my God, she won't leave me alone." Now all of a sudden he has to go, "Wait, you mean this person the whole time isn't?" Like the whole mindset of having to reset years of harassment and focusing it toward this one person is gone. Like I just can't
I know.
imagine psychologically
I
how much that
know.
would completely fuck you up. It's like, oh my God, it's so intense.
Crazy.
So
But
intense.
But the cops who, know have seen them realize, okay, Liz has done this, but we don't have proof. We don't know how we can get her, but we can sort her, bait her
Yeah.
into, trying to get, trying to get her
Yeah.
caught in the act of
Yes.
sending emails.
Right.
And so she goes back and basically does that, and just like, it's like she's just writing all these things and
Fell
just,
right into the trap.
yeah,
Right
just
into
like
it.
stepping right into it.
Like a dumbass.
Yeah, and she gets caught and, gets, goes on trial. She's, found guilty, and, she's sent to prison for the rest of her life. And at the very end of the film, I don't know, to jump in the gun here, but there's some sweet videos of Carrie, who we always, through the whole 80
An
minutes of the
evil,
movie,
terrible woman.
right,
Yeah.
is actually just this
A
wonderful
victim.
victim who is no longer with us. And so
Oh,
there is that sort of tug at your heartstrings, sadness to this,
yeah.
coupled with the end shot of the three cops playing pool at a bar, and just going like, And it was like, there was something sort of weirdly heartwarming about that too. So I found kind of a lot of different things going on, but I totally fell for it, hook, line, and sinker in the way you're
Great.
supposed to feel it. And I was like floored by it.
Well, because you just
Floored.
think, okay, man starts dating woman, she goes off the rails, she starts threatening. That just seems like a linear, easy to follow storyline that's happened a million times.
Right.
So I can see why that it would be like an easy one to fall for because you do not expect what was happening. I also love too. I thought the way they kind of solved it too, and they got her the extra gotcha. I love when they find this drive. And on the drive, they're looking at it and they're going, what are these photos? A bunch of selfies of Liz. What's going on? All of a sudden they go, holy shit.
Yes,
we have all the photos from that time. It was happening. So they're looking.
Yeah.
They find, this is where I think police work is amazing. Right. They find one shot, like in the background. You see it. You see, and I don't know how people figure stuff out. You see Carrie's car. Like they see the license plate. They see the car parked. And they're like, Liz was there with Carrie's car at some point. So then, that's how they kind of nailed her. They're like,
because they say maybe look for blood because that's what you do in the evidence in the car, and they tear apart one seat, nothing. They
didn't find anything.
The second seat,
didn't see anything, but until they tore it up.
They tore it up, and there was blood in the cushion, like the actual sponge part.
Gross.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my god, this is where she died. And then part of those photos, they're looking, and one guy looked and goes, "That looks like a piece of wood or something.
Yeah,
it looks
kind of
wood
thing."
And then he looks at it closely. It's the bald guy. I think his name was Paul. He goes, "Oh my god, that's a part of a foot.
It's a human foot with the veins, the marbleized foot." So it was like, oh, what? Like, how dumb are you? To take a picture for like proof for yourself, like to gloat, to take a picture of a dead body, a piece of it, to know like, haha, like why the hell?
I know she was so stupid, but just thought that she could get away with this.
Yeah, she kind of did for a long time.
She did for a long time,
but she left a trail, and then they started really investigating like how invested she was. And they talked about she was driving around Liz's house incessantly, driving. Imagine the amount of time she did all day long for years, writing these texts, all that energy, burning down her own house, killing her own animals, killing a woman, driving the car around, stalking her and him. Like, what life?
I know.
What is this person doing? Like, oh my God.
I mean, she got into a house and
shot herself
in the garage. She went into Dave, the original guy's house, and he bought a gun, and of course the gun is gone.
Stole the gun.
Yeah, and I think maybe shot her leg with that gun.
Yeah.
I think. Okay.
She typed, Liz broke into your house. I mean, Harry broke into your house and stole the gun and shot me. It's like, why would she do that?
So
it is so dumb.
Yeah, so dumb, but compelling,
fascinating.
Compelling story. And I think the best of true crime for me is when I go along for the ride.
Yeah.
And the twists and turns. And this was done in 90 minutes. Yeah, this could have been a 6-part series.
Oh, I could easily have seen
where you really got into the the characters deeper. But I still felt like, wow, nicely done and well filmed.
It really
I think.
It was really beautifully shot.
It had that feel of a Joe Berenger film, a really high end. Some of the shots, looking through the peephole and like these creepy sort of shots that they threw in, I thought were really fun and added to it. Yeah,
yeah, I thought they kind of got you inside of Dave's experience pretty well, like how it would feel to be inundated by so much hate and rage all the time, all day long, like how that would affect you. Like it would show him kind of just working at the mechanic shop, kind of walking out in like his overalls and his phones, and he's like, it's just like he can go outside and he just looks so small and sad, and like he cannot. All he wanted to do was date somebody, and it was only for a few weeks.
And then he was
like a relationship that went on for years.
Yeah, and he he just happened to get this woman who was crazy, and then fell for somebody who wasn't, but unfortunately was just a horrible victim that lost her life because of doing that. Like really something else,
He seemed pretty cool. Like I really liked him. Like he seemed very even keel and very nice, and he probably had a lot of therapy because he was like, I don't know how you live with something like that and don't drive yourself crazy for feeling so much guilt for getting that other woman involved and getting murdered. Like, but yeah, it was sort of, it's one of those documentaries you watch and you go, what? And then about 20 minutes later, what? Like, it was so like, So
I'm telling everybody to watch it. Even if you're not a fan of true
Yeah.
crime docs, just a story well
It's a really
told
good
that
one.
just happens to be 100% true,
It's
So,
true.
yeah.
Watch yourself out there, people. Be safe.
It is a bit of a warning sign
It
for people
is.
if you're out there doing the online dating thing to really, really consider it, and be careful.
Yeah, you just never know. And these people did not present as crazy people. That's the thing. You can't go, well, they're definitely crazy. Like these, well, I just say these people. There was one crazy person in the equation. There was just one
Right.
obsessive nut. So yeah, that's it. But be careful.
Be careful. Be careful, and also consider joining
Join
our
our channel.
channel. Yes, be careful and join our channel. We're very safe
We're
here.
very nice. Don't worry, we're not crazy. Not that crazy. You don't have to worry.
This is a safe community, and we for there's the charges if you decide to, and there's lots of fun things that you can check on our website. Just go to YouTube, check our channel, and we'd love to have you on board.
Yes.
So this was
All right,
fun.
that was fun.
True crime is always an interesting thing.
Always good to watch that and learn. It helps you learn. It's educational.
Be careful. Okay, everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.